And it looks like YouTube still hasn't picked up the stream yet. Everybody else has, like Facebook. There we go. Now
It's not the main
YouTube's
one.
there.
We are live, yeah.
Okay, so hey everybody, welcome to a special interview with Four Guys with Quarters. Today we have a very, very special guest, and I hope I don't pronounce your last name wrong, so correct me if I do. But
Okay.
Jackie Lastra.
You got it.
Yes, I got it.
It's
Awesome.
an easy name.
Yeah, sometimes there's that little accent on some of them, and we had one, and I just pronounced it completely wrong until the end of the show.
Who was it?
Siobhan Hewlett.
Oh no, I don't know how to pronounce that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I guess technically it's like Lastra because it's Cuban, but everybody Americanizes it. It's fine.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here with us. And I'd like to go ahead and introduce you. So, everybody, this is Jackie, and she is awesome. So, Jackie,
hi,
everyone. Can you tell everybody a little bit about what you do?
Well, I am a professional voice actress, which typically means that I just go into a small room and scream at no one and have fun. No, I've been on various video games and anime and a couple original animation, and I just go in and play every day, and I love it. It's great. I get to be a magical girl or a villain or whatever I get to feel like playing for the day.
The villain definitely sounds like fun. The villain's always
so good.
Is it?
So good, so fulfilling. You don't always get to be rude to people, so it's nice every once in a while.
A nice outlet.
Yeah.
And with us on the panel, I have Mav, aka Fun Speculation, and I have That Mama Rocks as well, with us today. And hey, everybody in the chat. Hey, Infinite. Hey, Victor. He has no need for an introduction, he says. Do you know Victor?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Hi, Victor.
All right. Just making sure. So I know that you said that you go in a little room and do it. So like right now, especially with COVID and everything going on, has voice acting changed for you? Is it like different? Did you used to go to a studio, or did you always have like a home studio?
Oh no, I used my home studio for auditions, and for very small like amateur projects. But I would usually go into a studio, and they're around me. But since COVID, I have had to completely redo everything. It's no longer in my closet. It's now like a set of PVC pipes and moving blankets, which is not the best, but it gets the job done, and that's all that matters. But yeah, it's now like a very shoddy setup. And I have a better mic and a interface, and I built a PC, so now it can actually handle the recording and everything. So it's been a lot of learning about new equipment and how everything works, and so I'm actually kind of grateful for it, but I would really love to get back into the studios as soon as possible. I miss people.
So yeah, that's a good question too. Like when you go into the studios, is there a lot of people there that help you out or instruct you, like a director or a producer or anything, or is it just they give you a paper and say these things?
It depends on the level. I have absolutely have had jobs where they're just like, here's the script, do it. And they might come back with some notes and have me redo parts or something. Typically, though, you have your engineer and your vocal director. Sometimes you'll have one other person. You might have the client on like a Skype call or something. But typically, it's just the director and the engineer in the booth with you. For bigger projects, I have had, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people in the room, just kind of watching you. And that can be super intimidating. But it's not all the time. Like I said, usually it's like 2 people can totally handle that.
Is there a difference between doing a video game versus an anime cartoon?
For sure. So the video game, typically don't have any picture to reference. It's just the script, and typically I don't even see anybody else's lines. It's just my lines, so I have no idea what's going on in the game. It's the director just kind of talks me through what's going on, and he's just like, "Hey, so here's the scene. Here's what's going on." Possibly they'll tell me how I'm feeling. Not all the time. A lot of times they'll just kind of leave it up to me. Um, but then that's it, and it's just me in the room. Um, for anime, I at least have the picture up in front of me, and I'll have the script off to the side, and so I have to match my words to the lip flaps. So there's a little bit more math involved, a little bit more timing and restriction. But I like them both, for they each have their own merits.
That's cool. Hey, so I'm curious if you could give us like a background of like what's the first thing you did? How did you actually get that gig to actually get you into this in the first place, and how did it progress from there?
Well, there's this recording studio called Bang Zoom in California, and I had heard that they did open auditions every year at an anime convention nearby. So when I decided first that I was going to start kind of trying to get my foot into the door in anime, I decided it like 3 months before. And when I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I love this. Let's do this. I practice every day. I get to the anime convention, and it took me 3 days to get the audition because people would line up to get like their little card to audition. And each day I showed up too late. And
Wow.
I missed every single Sailor Moon panel that year. I would just like to point out. And that was the year that Sailor Moon Crystal was coming out. So that was a sacrifice. Those who know me, I'm the biggest Sailor Moon fan. Anyways, I digress. So I just auditioned. I finally got up there. I read a short script, and then I guess they liked me, and I started talking with the CEO of the company, and I told him that I had been trying to get an internship there for a while, and so he told me to email him. I started working there. After the internship, the casting director came up to me and was just like, "I know you are interested. I'd like to give you a formal audition to be put on our roster," because that's what you do for all these casting directors. They just have a roster of people for different voice types that they just send out their auditions to. And so I auditioned there formally in the studio and booked some things. Yeah, that was a really long explanation.
No, that's good because a lot of people don't know what it takes, to get started into something like that, including me. I would have nowhere to start.
Everybody has a different path to get there. Yeah. I would say my biggest thing for like getting used to it was just doing pay to play things online. Like there's plenty of websites that you can find, voices.com, voices123. I know a lot of people don't like those sites, but they get the jobs done. And they really help you with auditioning and just getting used to how your voice sounds, and editing your own auditions for me helped tremendously because I was listening to myself and I was hearing the little ticks that I would do, and it kind of helps you just kind of make yourself better. Just kind of get better at your craft.
Cool.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
At that point, once you do a couple things, do you actually have people start coming to you for work because they heard you in something, or do you always have to put yourself out there? Is it more about marketing yourself with things and constantly, hey, come check me out. I can do this. Is it still like that for you?
It is definitely still like that. It is always going to be like that. Well, I guess for people who have been doing this for 20 years and huge names, they don't have to. I do have people come to me every once in a while. Every couple months, I'll get an audition that it's like, someone heard me in this and wanted, or somebody referred me. But usually it's you know, you got to hustle. You got to put yourself out there because there's a ton of people trying to do this.
Right. Cool.
So, to everybody in the video game industry, if you're watching this later, listening on the podcast feeds, definitely check Jackie out. She's already awesome. Look at all this energy. Definitely qualifies for video game characters as well. So, yeah. So don't forget about Jackie. What was I gonna say? I was gonna ask you something based Sailor Moon. Did you ever get a chance to voice anything in Sailor Moon?
No, not yet. There is still Sailor Moon Eternal coming out. There's still some seasons coming out. Hopefully, maybe, but not yet.
Okay.
We'll see. The
She's under
dream,
NDA.
anything, like even like a little like person who just screams at something. I would cry. I had like, I don't know, like 5 lines in the new Inuyasha spinoff, and I cried 3 times. It was ridiculous.
You know, I was just thinking about Sailor Moon now that you mention it, actually, because I went to an anime convention up in Jacksonville, Florida, and they had a Sailor Moon Super NES game. Did you ever play the Sailor Moon Super NES game?
Yes, I didn't play the NES game. Wait, which one did I play? No, it was. No, it had to be. Hold up. Was it? I feel like it was a PlayStation, but it might have been an NES game. I played some game where it was like a side scroller kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It must have been the NES. Yeah, it must have been the NES.
Was it I think it was in Japanese, if I remember correctly.
It was definitely in Japanese. Have they made any English ones yet?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of American fans wanted it to come over in English, and I just think they didn't think there was an initial market for it at the time. But now it's like a highly sought after item.
Yep. Yeah, all the original Sailor Moon item collectibles are pretty pricey now.
Now, being an anime voice actor, do you have to understand or learn Japanese at any point for some of these?
Not necessarily. It definitely helps, especially, you know, when you see it for the first time, because when we go through and we dub, we'll see the line or the few lines first, and then we'll go again and we'll go over. And if you understand what they're saying, especially since I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with Japanese, but there are a lot of words that don't translate directly. So, and there's a lot of like colloquial terms. And if you understand that, it makes the delivery a lot easier because you don't have to sit there and understand like, okay, they're saying this, but why are they saying this? You know why, because you understand it. I don't have a full grasp on the language. I took a few years back in college and remember next to nothing. But there's always the little terms that you hear constantly in anime that you remember, like the hellos, the baka, the little words here and there that they constantly use.
Okay.
And so you can on that, yeah. But no, you don't have to have a firm grasp on the language.
Have you been directed by a Japanese director before, and you have no idea what they're trying to tell you to do?
Yes, but there's always been a translator or an English director as well to kind of be like, okay, this is what they actually mean, and yeah, there's always someone to kind of help out if the language is not clear.
Cool.
Mama, did you have any questions?
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, if you could pick like one AAA game that you could feature in, which one would it be?
Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Then Final Fantasy, but Kingdom Hearts first.
Yeah.
Okay, so more specifically, what character in Kingdom Hearts?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, Naminé. Well, if I could. Or are we talking characters that are already canon? Or are we talking
you know, Kingdom Hearts goes into the whole Disney universe, right?
Right.
So I think it's
So
there's a
any-
whole world out there that you can pick from.
Goodness. Ooh. Let me think. Let me think of things that they haven't done yet. Crap, they've done so many. What about new ones? Can they ever think of any new Disney movies that came out recently?
Oh,
Lately, they've all been the live action remakes,
Right.
yeah.
like
There's been a lot
Mulan
of
and
them.
Yeah, and then Soul just came out, but that's I don't know of any characters in there I could play. Ooh. Wait, is Thumbelina Disney?
No,
no.
I thought they
but I
were
love
bought by Disney.
Thumbelina.
I know, I love it. And it's the same voice actress as Little Mermaid, so
It is, yeah.
it works.
You'd think, yeah. I know.
Okay, if not that, what about gosh, I can't even think of any Disney movies. I'm horrible. I'm a horrible Disney fan. I feel so disappointed in myself.
That's okay.
Oh,
Disney also goes into Star Wars and Marvel. now as well.
Yeah, Marvel, Star Wars.
Oh, I still forget that they bought all of them. I-
Even like the Simpsons now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Wow, they just own the world. I
They
feel like,
pretty
oh,
much
but
are
of course
taking
not
over.
Thumbelina. But
Apart from
then
Thumbelina.
The
Thumbelina's its
Simpsons
own
voice
thing.
actors all got to retire at some point. I mean, that show's been going on for how many years now?
Oh, so long.
A lot, actually. Yeah, no, and they're still doing new episodes constantly. Wow.
Yeah, that's it. So you heard it here. Kingdom Hearts 4, Simpsons level.
Oh no!
With Thumbelina.
Oh no! I don't know. I don't know if we could do a wholesome Simpsons to be.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
But like the Simpsons used to be kind of on the edge, right? And
Yeah.
now they kind of seem really PG, like kind of almost G, because things
They're
have
trying
gotten
not to
so
get
much crazier
canceled.
on TV.
Yeah.
Let's see. So what is your actual favorite character that you have played?
Probably Aset from the Somnium Files. She was so much fun to play, and it was just a fun world to be a part of. And
Do you kind of form an attachment to the characters after you perform them, and they become
Absolutely.
kind of you got art on your walls from those characters and stuff like that?
Well, I've always been an anime fan,
Yeah.
so for as long as I can remember. So my entire apartment is just filled with anime posters and figures and everything. It's disgusting. But yeah, no, even more so now that I'm in it, it's become more of I'm attached to the ones that I was into before I started working in anime, and then I'm attached to the ones that I'm in. Just because now that I've been working in it, it kind of seems more like a job now for some of them, which sucks, but I still do find the joy in it. But now it's like when I see anything from anything that I'm in, I can't resist. I have to buy it. Genshin Impact just came out with the little Guoba bears.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I bought 2 of them immediately. I couldn't help myself. So yeah, it's a problem. I think I'm actually losing more money than earning it at this point. But I regret
That's a cool
nothing.
problem to have, because
Yeah, I
ultimately,
regret
if you're
Especially at the
enjoying
moment as
what
well.
you're doing, then that's the
Yeah.
most important thing, right?
You know, I want to go ahead and go off of your Genshin Impact. So you voiced a character in Genshin Impact, and that game seems to be really successful right now. On the platforms that it's on, especially PlayStation, it's like become huge. Have you had a chance to actually play the game?
Oh yes. I stream, so I have been playing Genshin since day one.
Ooh.
And yes, I love it. It's a very fun game to play. I'm hitting a wall now because I'm like AR 37 or something. So it's now just to the grind and just trying to get all the books to raise some of my characters to get them all at the same level. It's very frustrating. But it's a beautiful game. The music is incredible. I spend so much time just wandering around the worlds just because the scenery is just breathtaking. But yeah, so yes, I am playing it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Chi-Chi is my number one character, and Kaching is my waifu.
You play on PlayStation or on PC? Or?
On PC.
Cool.
So Midway actually alluded to the fact that he likes your chair, and he figured that you might be a streamer because of your chair.
Yes, I just got my chair for Christmas. I had this really crappy office chair that was just falling apart. So I love this chair. It's Killaby. So far it's holding up pretty well. It was a very inexpensive chair, but I needed a pink chair. So here we are.
Yep. So Midway was right. I didn't even know that you actually streamed as well.
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
stream Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Right now we're playing Celeste and Genshin.
That is really cool.
You're on Twitch or?
Yeah, on Twitch, Moon PRN CSS. So Moon Princess, but without the vowels in princess.
All right, I'll definitely add that to the description as well, so people can find you. That is really cool. Now that we know that you're also a gamer, what are some of your favorite games that you remember growing up with, like from childhood?
Okay, well, funny about that. My parents wouldn't let me game as a child.
Ooh.
They were very much under the belief that like video game rots your mind. So I didn't have my first system until I was in high school. And that was a PlayStation 2. And I loved, of course, the first Kingdom Hearts. And one of my favorites was Tarzan as well, which everybody gives me crap for. But it was a really fun game, especially for the time. It was very exciting to play. But yeah, those are some of my favorites. Also, of course, once I got the PlayStation, I went back and got an NES, and Super Mario Brothers was, of course, my favorite, as well as the first Zelda and the first Final Fantasy. I played a lot of. Yeah.
First Final Fantasy?
Huh?
Like you say, the first Final Fantasy? Like you mean a PlayStation?
No, on the NES.
Okay. I was like, so that goes back.
That goes way back. Way back.
Way back.
Wow, that is actually really cool.
Tarzan Untamed.
Yes, that is it.
It has a 5.9 on Metacritic.
Look, again, first console in high school. This was amazing to me. This was like, holy crap, what is this? And it was like one of the very... I know.
Game Informer gave it a 78, which is a fairly good score.
It's reasonable.
You know, back then for a licensed game, because licensed games, there was a lot of them, right? And most of them were crap. Yeah. So that's actually really good for a licensed game. I'll say that.
I'm not totally off base. And again, it was one of the wholesome games that like my parents got for me that they allowed me to play.
Yeah.
That was a Disney game, right?
Yes, it was.
That was a platformer?
It was one of those like the trend of like making every Disney movie into a game. Yep.
Yeah, so
they're all pretty awful.
There was some good Disney games back then. Back in the day.
Few.
Liked it, yeah, because I love platformers. So like, I still like the Aladdin, Lion King.
Yeah.
I love those games.
DuckTales.
Oh
yes.
Yeah.
They actually had a remaster of that, or a new, was re-released like last year, or the year before.
Oh, really?
Same with
I
the.
guess
I don't know. It was re-released.
Yep.
There's also a
Huh.
Disney collection on Xbox. I don't know how many platforms it's on, but it has like Aladdin and it has
No.
something else on there. Yeah.
It has DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, and I forget the other one. Maybe DuckTales 2. I can't remember. But
I
yeah,
know
they
Aladdin
did.
is in one of them.
Aladdin and Lion King was a separate
Yeah.
remake.
Lion King, that was a good game too.
Yep. I love
I
those
remember
games.
playing that though at like Target and Walmart and stuff. On the
Oh yeah, back when you could still
And
play
this
them.
display
Games out,
consoles,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Can't do that anymore.
No.
Those were the
Stand
good
there
old
for
days,
ages.
right?
Yeah. All right, Mom, do your shopping. I'll be here when you get back.
Yep.
See you in
Okay.
2 hours.
And then there's the other obnoxious kid that won't leave,
Yeah.
and you're just sitting there
You're just
patiently
waiting.
waiting.
Yes.
There's a massive queue
Giving him
behind
the
you. It's
eye,
come
like,
on.
okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Are you gonna even buy anything, man? Move on.
Midway Monster asks, what drew you to the anime style or the fantasy storytelling?
Probably just because it was so adorable. I've just always been into it. Always been into anime, fantasy, everything. That's all I read is fantasy books. Probably because real life kind of sucks. So need some sort of escape. It's probably where it started, which sounds super depressing, but it's really not. I just really like the fantastical world and just being somewhere where magic exists.
Yeah, I will say that's one thing that when I look at anime and I look at like the anime style video games, it just seems like it's a colorful open world and it just feels so vast and it just feels like there's so many stories in them that that's what Sword Art Online did to me,
Sword art is amazing. It really opens your mind to like that could really happen. We could get trapped in those things and the world is, oh gosh, could you imagine a video game where you could actually just immerse yourself fully into it and just one day
Amazing.
it would.
Yeah,
We're getting there.
I think when that does happen, though, like Sword Art Online might predict the future because people might never want to come out of it.
I wouldn't.
We already have people getting stuck to their computers for days on end.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And I was just seeing anything else in the chat. So if anybody has questions, keep throwing them up there. Mama, did you have anything that you wanted to ask?
Do you play Dragon Age?
No, I don't.
Have you not?
I'm sorry.
Okay, so if you love fantasy,
Okay.
I think you do. I think you'll really like it. It's dragons and elves and dwarves and yeah.
What's the play style? What kind of gameplay?
RPG. Open world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Open world?
Open world. Very open.
Ooh.
Now, don't get her too into Dragon Age because she's gonna ride this train and get super excited and get hooked onto it, and then she's gonna be anticipating this next game, and we're all waiting for what it is right now, and kind of
wait for the next one.
we don't have. I don't know if I have high. I'm losing my high expectations. But
when
Dragon
was
Age.
the last one? When did the last one come out?
2013.
Yeah. Was it 2013 or 2014?
I think it was a launch game or around launch.
Yeah,
maybe it's 14. I don't know. It's around the first year of the new console.
Yeah, it's about 6 years ago. 6-7 years ago.
They're pulling a
been a
Kingdom
while.
Hearts hiatus. All right.
It won Game of the Year from a lot of outlets.
It did,
The last one was Dragon Age Inquisition, but it was actually different style than Dragon Age 2 or the original Dragon Age. So if you know the games like Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter Nights, they kind of took inspiration from those games because BioWare is the one that makes Dragon Age, and they're the ones that made Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter Nights. So they didn't have the D&D license, so then they had to come up with their own world, and that became Dragon Age.
Very cool. Well, I love D&D, so
it's darker fantasy though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely, it's a little morbid. It's not like fairies and we have clowns here. It's turned into the Incredible Hulk,
So what
live on
happened?
screen.
Wait,
You wouldn't like him when he's angry. Say something, Carlo. I think everybody needs to see this. No, he's actually also muted. I wish you guys could see what I see right now because he is green and he is silent and it's pretty awesome.
I can't even see him. It's just a
He
screen
looks
of
like-
green.
It looks like he was attacked by Slimer right now.
That's exactly it.
it's just in a Borg stuck
Yeah.
there.
And I can
Can
tell
you
he's probably
can you guys hear me?
frustrated. Yeah, we can hear you now.
You.
Wow, so that's terrible. So it did it. So Zoom does that to my camera for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know
Can't see
what
you
it
on the stream either.
Yeah, that was
it doesn't
cool
like
though.
the
It
green
just
screen, I guess.
out of nowhere.
No, no green screen either because Zoom has that like virtual background now.
Oh, that's right.
So
Oh, super weird then.
yeah, I don't
That's
know.
very
Maybe
weird.
maybe it's just like a bug with the camera and Zoom because this happened last week too. So I just might have to turn the camera off for now. Victor says I should call the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I was hoping everybody would
I'll
get to
do
see
that.
green clowns because
Yeah,
it kind
I
of
thought
matched
that
your
as well.
your icon with your green
Mhm.
beard there.
So I had a green beard.
Dude, you were all green, buddy.
The whole screen.
Midway says, "Where did you study for voice acting?"
I took a few workshops specifically for like mic technique, but voice acting, I typically just took acting classes themselves and not at a very well-known studio. I took a few classes at Bang Zoom. I took a few classes with Michaela Hicks. It just various acting classes around town. Acting, I would say, is a little more important than just voice acting classes. There are plenty of like dubbing classes that you can take, and those are very helpful if you'd like to get into anime. But if you are just thinking voice acting or voice acting in general, whether it be animation or commercial, I would say acting classes are very important. Stage acting, improv, all of those, because it is above all else acting. It is not just screaming into a microphone. It is not changing your voice. That is a very small technique. Overall, you are a character and you are becoming something else. And it's very important and something that a lot of people don't understand, that you really need to take those classes if you would like to do this. Yeah.
I suppose you have to have quite like a lot of personality into the character every time
For
you do a
sure.
different voice. Yeah.
You're bringing the character to life. You're not just speaking in a funny way. You're taking it out of the page and you're giving it life.
Yeah, that's it's interesting to see like what we think of these characters when we know them is actually a lot of, I think, the input on who the character is actually is because of the talent of the voice actor showing through with that. So I don't know if that gets appreciated as much as the artists that are originally creating these characters, because without the voices, we wouldn't have the personality that they bring. So
For sure. And it really does depend on, because every person is going to have their own take on the character. So just having this different people read the same lines, you're going to get completely different characters.
Is that how much do you think about that a lot before you actually go through with your delivery of the actually saying the lines about what this person is, this character is, besides just the direction they're giving you? I mean, do you have an idea in your head yourself of where you want to go with it?
Oh, for sure. Depending on whether I know ahead of time what my character is.
Right.
I've been to many sessions where I have no idea. They've just been like, hey, you booked a character, come here. And at that point, obviously, I can't really prepare. I just have to have an open mind. But for those that I know ahead of time, a lot of times with anime, you can see ahead of time who the character is and kind of get a feel for it. And for that, when that happens, I do like to have an idea in my mind of how I want to portray the character. but you can't be set on it because you could come in and they could be like, okay, well, this was a character originally, but we kind of like to put this kind of spin on it in the English version. And so you have to be flexible. You have to have your mind in the same realm as the character, but you need to be open-minded about the delivery.
So we have someone in the chat, Midway Monster, and I don't know if you want to be put on the spot or not, but he had a request. If we would ask you to give an example and do a line of some kind, you don't have to do this. I think just the speaking voice, when you introduced yourself, I was like, okay, that's a voice actress, and I hear an anime character already. So there's, I think, a natural probably talent there as well, right? That you kind of have to have. But if you are up for it, do you have anything?
Wait, what? Specific lines or just any line?
Anything, I think. So I think he's just do any line or give an example. And then NSM0220 says, oh, how about one from ASET?
Okay, I could do one from ASET. I could do her intro. I haven't done that in so long. Okay. Hold on. How does it go?
Hey, beware of copyright strikes here, clowns.
I don't.
No, I'm just
No.
kidding. That's not anything weird.
It's something that I already say. I don't think it would be an issue.
No, that's not an issue.
Oh, okay. It's good evening, good morning, and hello. It's ASET. Or is it? It's Tessa, also known as ASET. You bet.
That's awesome.
I love that.
That
On
is
command.
so cool. How you could just do that. Because I imagine if I was ever to try and voice act, it would take me, I don't know, maybe like a couple hours just to get into the voice.
You get used to it after a while.
Do you?
Like I struggle with accents as it is. Like
Oh, I'm terrible with accents. Absolutely. Anytime my agent sends me something with accents, it's like, really? Really want me to do this? Okay.
Yeah, you're getting thunderous applause in the chat.
Oh,
yeah.
thanks,
I'm
guys.
clapping.
Now,
Yeah, you can hear that anime influence even in just like the speaking. Do you get caught like you realize you're actually talking like that a lot more just because you're used to practicing it so much?
Absolutely. There is about an hour window after an anime session where I just can't not be an anime character. Like no matter what I'm doing, my friends will be like, okay, chill. Okay, bring it down. You're not in the booth anymore. There also, when I was first getting into it, I would kind of practice because I waited tables at the time, and so I would practice a different voice for each table, and that got really confusing after a while. And then I would like go back to different tables and talk with a different voice than I talked before, and I know I got some weird looks, but yes, I especially when I'm bartending, I start talking very animated and in that, and my voice starts going really high pitched when I'm yeah, it just happens. It is what it is.
oh wow, that's pretty cool. So, did you ever just accidentally walk into like, let's say, like a grocery store or a gas station and just go into character? Or maybe you did it on purpose just to see what they would say.
Sure. Uh-huh. On purpose and by accident. It's happened both times. Yeah, sometimes just to see the reaction. Yeah.
Anybody ever recognize any of the voices?
No. Not really. If I'm at a convention, I'll get recognized, but on the street, nah.
Okay.
I think in the convention setting, people are more like, they're more tuned to it, to what's going on.
I miss conventions.
Oh, me too. I used to go to so many every year, and now nothing.
Yeah, well, once they start conventions back up, if you ever go to the one in Jacksonville, I'll definitely go there and get one of those autographs and hang out. I met a few. Oh man, I met Brina Palencia at the one in Jacksonville. I'm not sure
Nice.
if you know her.
What's the one in Jacksonville called?
Yeah. Oh man, because I haven't been there so long. But it's
The
like it's a
Jacksonville Anime Convention.
no, but it's really popular. Um,
Yeah, I have heard of, and I think I almost went to the one in Jacksonville last year. So
I think it's Wasabi Con.
Collective Con, and there's Wasabi Con. And the Anime Con. It seems like you have a lot of them there, clowns.
Yeah, Wasabi Con's like the big one though. That's when they go all out and people come dressed up and they have the voice actors, at different booths and tables for autographs and speaking. And it's just a really cool time though because everybody's so into it. And I think that's one of the things I like about anime conventions and I think anime fans in general is that everybody just gets into it. Like it's a lot of fun to just dive into these roles, these characters, and I don't know. It's a cool thing, just like Borderlands cosplay to me at video game conventions. It's just really cool to see that stuff.
yeah, I love the cosplay and the anime conventions. They're very welcoming. Everybody is just like, look, we all love the same thing here. Let's just go crazy and embody this character. I've seen so many like Ed cosplays from Cowboy Bebop that just like become that character and run around on all fours, and it's so wonderful. I love it.
It is, yeah, definitely. So when you go to the conventions, do a lot of the fans recognize you right away, or only after they hear your voice?
Um, some of them will recognize me. I've had a few, and obviously each time I go, I get more and more since I've been in more projects. But for the most part, not really. People know the character. They don't know me.
And when you actually watch anime, do you watch it with the subtitles, or do you watch it with the voices?
I watch it mostly with subtitles.
Do you?
I know that my job is dubbing and I should support the dubs. And I do watch the dubs. I do watch some dubs, especially if my friends are in it. I watch the dub and support it. But most of the time, I do prefer the subs.
Do you ever find yourself criticizing yourself when you're watching these the cartoons, and you're like, "Oh, the mouth's not moving when I said this"? Like, do you criticize yourself on those aspects?
It's not really the mouth movements. It's usually a delivery thing because a lot of the ones that I have been in lately, I don't get to see it ahead of time and I don't know what's going on in the scene. And all I get to see is my one line. And sometimes I'll think that my intention is one thing because I can't hear the rest of the scene. And I'll go back and I'll watch it and be like, oh, that's not what she was saying. She meant a completely different thing there. And yes, that happens. And I beat myself up for it. But at the end of the day, there's only so much I have control over. So I try not to be too hard on myself.
With video games, when you're told to voice a character in a video game, do they send you like let's say like videos of the character or screenshots or anything or a prototype before you actually voice the character to try to get the feel for the mindset?
Of course, on the video game, ideally they will send me a picture of the character, maybe a couple renders, and then kind of a short paragraph telling their backstory, maybe another paragraph talking about the game. But most of the information I will get the first day that we go into the studio, and they'll explain the world, they'll explain the characters, what's going on, what's my motivation, that kind of thing. Usually I'll find out in the studio.
NSM asks, what is your favorite moment from a convention?
At Anime Expo, when I, the Somnium Files, was about to come out, we were doing this big event, and there were some girls that I had met online through a Somniophiles Discord, and I knew that they were traveling like across the country to come see. There were 3 different places, and they walked into one of the panels, and I recognized them because I had seen one of their pictures. And I waved to them, and I went up and I said hi, and they were just so excited and so receptive, and were just so excited to see me. And it just touched me so much, and it just made me realize just how much I have influenced someone's life. And I don't know, it just meant a lot to me, and I've never forgotten it.
That's really cool to see like the fans and the dedication like that, and that you mean so much, to someone. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So one of the coolest things I saw from a voice actor was the guy that voiced Mirage in Apex Legends was playing online multiplayer, just in the open voice chat, and he was messing with people. There's a YouTube video, and he was speaking like in the Mirage voice, right, the whole time they were playing, and he was saying all the lines and stuff, and people were like freaking out, right? Like, have you ever like done that with somebody like that at one of these conventions where they're a huge fan, and you just kind of like, they don't know who you are, but hey, see if you can guess, this is me.
I have done this before, and they did realize shortly into it, and I love watching the facial expressions when they realize. They're like, what? Ha, ha, ha! It's just a great development of emotion there.
Yeah, the one somebody else I've seen do that a lot is the lady that actually does Bart Simpson's voice. I forget her name.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
But people are shocked because it's first off they learn it's a female. It's like wait, my mind's blown right now.
So a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, she did quite a few.
Yeah,
voices.
yeah.
Oh yeah, she's
famous voice actress. I just can't think of the name.
Simpsons, I think she done a few of them, didn't she? A few characters, I think
so. Yeah.
Nancy something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nancy Cartwright. NSM
That's the
says.
one.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's right. Thank you, NSM0220, for knowing more than anybody else on this panel. We appreciate that very much.
So, is there any projects they could talk about coming up, or anything that you can talk about that you recently did that you're really excited for?
Of course, Genshin. If anybody isn't playing Genshin Impact, please do it. It's a phenomenal game. I play Zhongling. ReZero, the video game. What is Prophecy of the Throne, I believe is the subtext. I play Puka, which is an adorable little squirrel spirit thing. Other than that, I don't think I can announce. I have some things coming out this month, but I can't say it yet. Oh, I just Shadowverse. If anybody plays that, I voice 5 characters in this new card set.
Okay, what was it called?
I don't know a lot of Shadowverse. It's like a mobile card game.
I'm gonna check that out now. I'm also gonna check out Genshin Impact since you voice a character in there. I haven't played it yet. I'm sorry, but I will.
It's
now.
okay. That just means that you have a lot of time to dedicate and build your characters and find your waifus or husbandos.
And Shadowverse probably has more players than anything else that we're even talking about, right? And we don't, just because it's a mobile game,
Yeah.
Or
PC. It is on Steam.
Mobile as well, isn't it? I think Genshin.
Genshin Impact is on mobile as well. It was actually the second most popular mobile game this year.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
After, oh crap, what was the biggest one? Oh no, I can't remember. I feel dumb. I shouldn't have said anything.
Who do you feel is the most famous character that you've portrayed? The most well-known character?
Probably Serena from Pokemon.
Serena from Pokemon. Right on.
Yeah. Maybe?
Yeah, I know you did some Shopkins stuff too, right? My daughter thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that was one of my first ones. That was my first original animation. Yeah, a lot of people know Shopkins, but more people know Pokemon or Sword Art. If I say Sword Art, most people know
Yeah,
that one. Yeah.
I know what that is. I love
Or
that.
Rising of the Shield Hero. A lot of people know that one too.
I haven't honestly like I have never been like super into like the newer anime stuff, you know. So like a lot of these I'm finding interesting now because my daughter's getting into them, right?
Yeah, so's mine.
Um, and some of the characters are awesome. So I have mad respect for what y'all do and bringing them to life.
Thank you. I try really hard.
And I prefer the dubbed one, so definitely keep on dubbing. Those are the best for me.
Somebody supports the dub.
All the
the
hardcore
dub.
anime fans like at convention, like, oh, why do you like the dubs? It doesn't sound legit. And I'm like, I understand it. That's why I love it.
Yeah, you don't have to read it. I love watching dubs if I don't have the time to like stare at the TV the entire time. Like if I have to do some chores, then I'll put it in the background. Or if I'm exercising, then I don't have to focus on the words at the bottom.
Do you ever have to fake an accent?
Yeah.
So you're
a couple of times. I've done kind of an English-y accent, and then a Southern accent I can usually do pretty often. But that's about
What
it.
you should do is pair up with Mama Rocks here, and
There
then
we
when you
go.
got to do that British accent, you just kind of slip her in for the recording.
There you go.
And then I
No
can
one
just do
will
it instead.
ever notice the
They
difference.
won't know any difference whatsoever. They'll be
No.
like, wow, she's really good.
So legit.
See, it's impressive. My voice is completely different.
I do that.
Speaking of Southern accents, can we hear one of those?
Oh boy. Well, I don't know. I just kind of slip into it, usually when I'm drunk or something, or if I say I'm fixing to rustle us up some grub.
I'm from Texas, so that's not bad.
From Georgia, so it's more
Yeah, it's in your blood. then.
redneck. Yeah.
Me, I'm just from Pennsylvania, and I live in Florida now. So I guess I'm a Yankee Doodle. That's what everybody calls me over here.
Yep. Darn Yankees.
Yeah,
You got an interesting accent though, Clowns. It comes out quite a bit.
does it?
You know.
You got an
Yeah,
accent?
like say when you say Google Stadia.
Google Stadia.
Yeah, when you say Stadia, you don't say Stadia.
Stadia.
You know, you're saying Stadia now, but that's not how you usually say it.
Yeah, I grew up
You
with
say Stadia.
I grew up with a
Stadia.
broken Italian Brooklyn accent, so
Yeah,
that's
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 cool.
why.
Man. Gaming. You do a lot of gaming on the weekends.
Game no. No.
You say gaming, yeah, you do. Yeah, I picked up on these little words that you have. It's awesome though. I like your accent, man. It's unique. But you know what? I noticed Dreadpool. It says a lot of the words the same way that you do. You'll have to listen for that.
So Florida's wearing off of me. Damn.
I think so.
Victor says dub with subtitles. I guess that's what he likes to watch.
Okay. I watch a lot of just like regular TV with subtitles, usually because I'm like eating. I can't hear the words over my snacking. I just turn them on anyways. I'm deaf. Can't hear. It's not a good thing to be deaf and a voice actress, but
No,
That's
that would have to be a very challenging job to try to like do the expressions they have to do.
mm-hmm.
Just
So is
imagine what that's like to just like try to get in the booth and do the expression of the character. Like it's got to be like an art because you're also like acting as well as just doing the voice. And like some of these projects that you do or these gigs that you do the producers or the directors ever say, I want to see those facial expressions as well?
No, they don't care. Usually I will just do them because it's kind of hard not to make my face in the same expression that I'm doing my words. Honestly, if my face is not reacting, then I'm not acting correctly. It just does it. And also, it's kind of funny when I'm editing auditions as well. If I'm listening to myself, my face will mimic what my face did when I was recording it. I don't know why, it just does it. It just immediately puts me back in that emotion if I'm listening to it. But yeah, no, my face does weird things when I'm making noises, when I'm speaking in a weird, especially if I have to change my voice, if I have to go high pitched, my face does this, and my whole body just kind of does this. And that's how I make it get louder and higher pitched.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool how you get into it.
Yeah, it's actually that's being in quarantine has helped me a little bit get more into the character because I don't care about what I look like because no one's watching me. So I have become very animated and have knocked things over many, many times in the booth.
Extra sound effects, right?
Hey, the voice acting was awesome.
Love that.
The voice acting was awesome. Just ignore that sound of me smacking the cup off of my desk, right?
Yep.
So is there a besides Sailor Moon, is there a anime that is out now that you would just absolutely love the opportunity to work for?
I believe that they are planning on redubbing Tokyo Mew Mew. I know that they came out with a new series. I don't know if they're doing a new cast for that, but if so, the dream. I would love to be a magical girl. That is my goal. I want a wand and a transformation sequence. That would be life-changing. But no, that would be amazing if I could be a part of that one. As far as things that are already out, Fruits Basket. I love Fruits Baskets, and their remaster, whatever you call the redub, I'm not sure what you call it, is incredible. I was a huge fan of the original, and I had very, very high expectations, and they have superseded all of them. It's just an incredible series, and you really need to watch it if you're not watching it already.
That's cool. So do you ever kind of, from being at these conventions and stuff, and you being such a fan yourself, have you been starstruck from some of the people you've ran across, being in the same room with,
Yes. My very first convention that I was a guest in, I was sitting backstage waiting because they did an opening ceremony thing, and they were introducing some of the special guests, and I was just sitting backstage talking to some of the other women that were waiting, and there's this woman who I was just really hitting it off with, and we were just having a grand old time, and then she introduced herself to me, and I realized that this may not be crazy for anybody else, but I kind of lost my mind. It was the singer of all of the original Sailor Moon songs. And it was huge to me because that her one song that she then went on stage to sing, like right after we were talking, was the very first song that I had ever performed at a talent show, anything. It was my breakout song into entertainment. And so she had such a big part in my life. And the fact that I met her on the very first convention that I was ever a guest at, it was just like, oh, this is fate. This is what it looks like. I took everything in me to like keep my calm and keep it all together.
Yeah, I think that Sailor Moon intro like kind of became like a phenomenon a little bit, didn't it? My mind remembers. I think I was like in middle school or high school at the time.
Well, the thing was, she didn't even sing the intro when she was performing. She sang the song called "The Power of Love," which occurred on the season finale or the second to last episode in the first season finale. So it wasn't even the main song. It was just like this random song that she sang that just happened to be the first song that I ever sang. So
That's cool.
I don't know, it meant a lot to me.
That's awesome.
Mama, do you have any questions?
Put you on the spot.
Yeah. Anime or video games? Like if you had to pick one, which one would it be?
Anime.
Anime.
Pays less, but the experience to me is much more.
Yeah, you
Really?
enjoy it.
Yes.
I'm surprised.
Really to what? Really to them paying less, or really to?
I'm shocked.
She chose anime.
I'm shocked that an anime would pay less than a video game because it seems like anime. It seems like anime you have to talk longer and do more lines.
You do. The non-union rates for anime are $75 an hour, whereas 75 an hour with a 2-hour minimum. For video games, it's $200 an hour.
Okay.
So more than double.
Oh, it's quite a lot.
So get into video game voice acting, people. Do not waste your time with anime.
Yes,
just
especially if you get into a union video game, then it's like $1,000
Wow.
per session, and you could go in for 15 minutes and ta-da.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
we-
cool.
We've actually talked to a few video game producers and CEOs of companies, and it said some of the hardest things is to actually sometimes find a voice actor they really like, because if the job is union, they have to stick to union. And it's like sometimes they're very frustrated because they might like somebody else who's non-union for their character, and they said it presents like a difficult challenge sometimes trying to work around that stuff. And he's like, sometimes you get the non-union person in the background to like yell or scream, but other than that, it's pretty much lost point. And that's a shame because there's so many talented people, regardless if you're union, non-union, and I just think everybody should give it a fair chance.
Absolutely. Union, I do see a lot of the benefits with joining the union, but it eliminates so many projects. There's so many things that I couldn't be in simply because I've joined the union. And so you have to make that decision, which is hold off for a while or do FICOR. FICOR, you can do both union and non-union, but there is some stigma that I'm not going to get into. But yeah, the unions do present quite an issue when it comes to casting.
So that's actually something good for our audience to learn if they ever want to get into voice acting. It's something they should look at first too, as well as union versus non-union, and where do they want to go on the spectrum, and what kind of voices they want to do and studios they want to work for. So that's a really good tip. I've actually never known that specifically, that it was that difficult.
It's pretty difficult, and it's very expensive to join the union. So I would say do not even think about it in your first year, maybe not even your second year. And it really just depends on the projects that you're booking. If you're starting to book a lot of union projects, because you can still book union projects as a non-union person. There's paperwork and there's hurdles to cross, but you can still do it. But yeah, it just depends on where you are in your career and whether you're ready to say no to the non-union projects.
So do you have like a manager or an agent or something that is getting you the opportunities to audition for things, or does that all come from you yourself?
It's both. I do have an agent who sends me auditions fairly regularly, but most of the things that I have booked, in fact, I've only booked like 2 things through them. Most of the projects I book is because of the relationships that I have gone out and made with the casting directors.
Right. And do you do that through the conventions and things like that? Or
conventions, a lot of times it's just emailing them my demo. Make sure that for those of you who are interested in doing this, you don't just have like a website that you send them 2, you actually link them the demo because they're very busy and they do not have the time to go look for your stuff. So just send it all. If you're submitting, send everything you have straight to them. Don't make them work to hire you.
That's
It's
actually
very good advice.
Yeah, very, very good advice. As for video games, do you have any advice on how people can get into voicing video games?
It's the same, just reaching out to casting directors. And video games work on your fighting, exertions, noises that you make when you're throwing punches, getting hit, dying. There's a lot of weird noises that you make in video games. So start working on that. I cannot tell you how many times I have been recording a video game and they'll tell me to do something and I just go, I have no idea how to do that. I've never done that before, but here we go.
Now, what kind of equipment would you need to just get started? If you want to be today I am going to put some stuff together and send stuff out to a bunch of casting directors. What do you need to own?
If you have never ever done this before and you don't even know if you're going to start getting into it, I started with my phone. I recorded auditions with my phone. It doesn't take much. Also use a pantyhose as a pop filter, so you get creative. The next step up would just be like a very basic USB mic. You don't need the whole fancy interface and all that. USB mics are super cheap. The next step up, get a little bit better mic. I would say you're investing about $200 on your mic for the next step up, and then an interface. For professional recordings, you do not use a USB mic. I definitely fell into that trap early on. But if you want to take it to the next level, you do need that interface. And you don't have to spend a ton of money to do it, but it does take some investment.
Do you feel like not having that equipment would prevent you from getting jobs potentially?
Right now, yes. Right now, since we're in quarantine, yes, because everyone's recording from home, so you need that home setup. If you do not have a lot of money to invest in it, I would hold off because you're not going to be going into a studio for a long time. But for auditions, if you just want to do stuff at home, the amateur projects or any of the stuff on like Voices 1, 2, 3, all of those lower level things, and not like they still have big auditions on there. So I'm talking like the lowest ones. You don't need anything fancy. USB mic, you'll be totally fine. But if you do want to take it to the next level, you do need to invest in a XLR and a interface.
Cool. Yeah, those are available online, guys. I think a decent setup you could probably get $200 to $300, right? For both of that. So if you do the math, if you get a couple jobs, then it pays for itself, and then at that point, that's all income, right?
Yeah.
So,
and a lot of those websites that you just audition for, all the jobs start out at $100. So 2 to 3 jobs, like you said, it's paid for. There's your investment.
That's awesome. See, we learned something new today. Thank you, Jackie, so much. We definitely did. And I know we've been on here an hour, so I hope you've been having fun with us. And I don't want to exhaust you. Mama Mav, you guys got any questions?
oh geez, I could probably think of a lot more.
All right, go for it. I'm putting you on the spot. Go for it, man.
Yeah, I've already. I mean, these wheels have been turning, man. I'm ready to go. All right, so you are pretty much 99% anime, right? Like even whether it's video games or it's the actual anime shows, or even just your room, right?
Yes.
So is there
life? Yes, 99% anime.
Is there like another genre of like, let's say video game or show that you would like to kind of steer into to have another maybe another outlet?
Oh yeah, of course. I would love to get into other original animation. I love original animation. There's so much freedom in it. A lot of the American anime that's coming out, or even just regular animation. There's been a lot of shows on Netflix. Has been a great outlet for animated shows recently. You have the Dragon's Dogma that just came out. You have the oh crap,
Castlevania.
the DreamWorks. Oh, Castlevania. I still see Castlevania as an anime though. But like or any
Dragon's
of the
Dogma's
CGI
pretty anime,
ones.
too.
Yeah, oh, I guess it is. Well, like any of the DreamWorks, the
Yeah.
Wizards, and I forget what the original Troll Hunters. That was the original
Yeah.
one, or the Dragon Prince. Any of those would be incredible. Anything
There's
on
a lot of
Disney.
cool stuff
Or
like
be a
on
Disney princess.
Netflix and stuff that's showing up now. I think all these streaming platforms is like there's actually way more stuff to watch than we ever had before. You know.
Oh, for sure. Netflix has stated that they are going to push for more anime as the years go by. They have a huge lineup of ones that they're coming out with, and I fully support it.
Yeah, there's one that I watch. I think it's either Hulu or Netflix. I can't remember, but it has like that princess, and her father is like a very how do I say? He's not a very smart king, and then her pet's like a demon pet that was like initially a curse, but they ended up becoming friends, and they go around causing mischief. I can't remember the name of the cartoon, but it's really funny.
Wait, are you talking about the one by Seth MacFarlane?
Yes, that one.
Yes, with the little demon dude. No,
Is it Enchanted?
no, Enchanted is the Disney movie.
Disenchantment, maybe?
Disenchantment. That's it.
Oh, I love that one.
Was that on Netflix?
That was on Netflix. It's the same people that did Futurama.
Yep. That's it.
Okay.
So it's the very similar humor. I love it. It's really good.
So do you rock?
Your chat's on fire with getting these answers right. You should just start a anime or trivia show right now and just see how many things these guys are gonna nail.
All right, so to the chat right now, to the people talking, what is your favorite character that Jackie voices?
Oh, goodness.
And we'll wait for the answers. Yeah, we'll wait for the answers on that. So do you like Rick and Morty as well? And those?
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. In fact, the studio that I worked for recorded them, so I got to see a lot of the behind the scenes and the recording and help out the people, and they were wonderful people, and them recording was a treat.
That is all.
There was usually alcohol involved.
Yes. We actually interviewed somebody that's was very close friends with them. Her name is Kelsey Abbott. She does a lot of writing for Cartoon Network. And and she was talking about Rick and Morty and all the other stuff. And you could just tell, like, the people they keep around just are fun. A lot of fun.
Super fun.
Yeah.
There were so many times, and they could be so like sporadic, where sometimes they'll be like, yeah, we're gonna record this day, and then the day would come and they're like, we don't have a script yet, we're gonna push this.
Yes.
Like, okay, cool, it's the day of, but cool. So everybody was fine with it because they were just wonderful people.
Yeah, that would be me. I would improv. I probably would forget every line from the script and just improv as I go. Victor says his favorite character is Melty.
Oh, yay!
Who's Melty? I don't know.
Melty is from Rising of the Shield Hero.
What does Melty sound like?
She's just a pampered princess. It's just my voice, but a little higher and a little more snark.
And he also says Misa as well.
Misa, from Misfit of the Demon King Academy, which came out fairly recently.
That actually sounds very interesting.
It is a great anime, if you like overpowered main characters, they do an amazing job. It's all about like demon versus humans, and they go to school to search for their demon king who died for them. It's fun. It's a good show.
Awesome. Do you ever see yourself going beyond voice acting?
As in like film acting?
Film, TV, or whatever,
I dabbled a little bit in film before. I prefer the voice acting, and I would like to stick with the voice acting if at all possible. I'm very animated, and that's not good for film.
Right.
So if possible, I would love to stick to voice acting, but I do know that you do get a lot more clout if you delve into the film acting, and you get more following, and there is that, but I like voice acting more.
That's cool.
Has anyone come to you and developed a character based on your voice and asked you to voice it?
Yes. Well, actually, just recently, someone came to me and was just like, I like your voice. I'm making a series right now. Would you like to be a part of it and have me create a character for you? And I was like, absolutely. But that was the first time.
That is awesome. And
it was an anime, right?
No, it wasn't.
No.
Yeah. Well, it's I don't know what it is yet. It is animated in some fashion.
Probably something
Right
that
on.
you can't talk about, right?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
In NDAs, right?
Yes.
They're
Man,
so much fun.
Now I'm so curious because a lot of times when they do that, they try to draw the character to have like similar features in some ways, and that's really cool when you get
I love that.
Yeah, that's
luckily
awesome.
a lot of my characters I've already kind of looked like, so like cosplaying has been kind of easy, but it'd be nice to see what someone thinks that I would look like animated.
Do you cosplay as well?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
I love it.
Wow. So you're multi-talented. You do the voicing, you do the streaming, you do the cosplay.
I don't cosplay well, but I love it. I have been doing it ever since I first started going to conventions at like 15. And I love putting together my own outfits. Occasionally I'll buy one, but not usually. Like when I did the for our ASET panel at Anime Expo, they asked me to cosplay as the character and do her dance routine because she's an internet idol. So she has like a whole dance and singing, and so for that I made the costume and I danced and sang, and it was the best. I love
Which
cosplay.
character was that?
This is for ASET from I the Somnium
Okay.
Files.
Now I'm curious. Now I'm gonna look up ASET because everybody loves ASET. Everybody in the chat is loving ASET.
Fun. If you go on YouTube on the channel Lemniscate, she has, I don't know how many videos we ended up doing. We started with 7 is what we were originally going to do, but they kind of caught on a little bit more than they expected, so they just kept going. And 26 videos. So yes, if you want to know kind of what ASET specifically is, that's a great channel to check out. But the game doesn't have a lot to do with the ARG. So.
Do you ever cosplay, clowns? Do you ever show up as a wizard?
No, I've never cosplayed as a wizard. But I guess if my beard keeps growing, I could probably do that. But I have some competition with Dredd. I mean, Dredd's beard is longer, so
yeah, you guys would kill it at a Lord of the Rings convention.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, do it,
please.
And now I would be scared because I don't know anything about Lord of the Rings.
What?
No.
No.
I would like to formally denounce myself as a member of Four Guys.
I'm leaving now.
Yeah, bye. It's been fun.
Peace out. Peace out, Green Man. I wish y'all could see him still. He's still green.
Am I green?
Magically,
You've
he
been
has
green for
himself.
ages.
He has himself magically shielded from the YouTube stream to where he
Just
doesn't
like
show
like
up
a
with
green
his.
screen.
But
That
yeah,
is
you're
so
still
weird.
green on our end, man.
Yeah,
You know what?
I've gotten used to it now.
Yeah,
There we go. We
Yeah,
can go with
that's
my
right.
my
There we
avatar.
Dredd said he's out too, Carl. So you're losing everybody here.
Go watch. I can't believe this. They're everywhere. They've been out for way too long for you not to see them.
Long time.
Yeah, and that includes even the Hobbit movies and,
Yeah.
and
We don't talk about
everything.
those. What are you talking about? What
Yeah,
Hobbit movies?
that's true. That's true.
So if
You
You
I
mean the original animated Hobbit? That's what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, from like what is that from like the 80s or
Yeah.
70s or something?
David
like
the
that?
Gnome. Is that David the Gnome? on
No,
Nickelodeon?
not David the Gnome. I remember David the Gnome. David the Gnome was awesome. Well, didn't it come on after the Little Bits? Do y'all remember the Little Bits?
Yep. Yeah, that
No.
I mean that's what I could cosplay as, David the Gnome. I
Yeah.
get like a big red party hat.
Perfect.
Lovely.
That's all you need.
Just a red hat.
What about you, Mama? Do you ever do cosplay stuff?
No, I haven't, but I really want to.
If you could cosplay anyone, who would you cosplay as?
I would cosplay as Morrigan from Dragon Age
Ooh, okay.
and Yennefer from Witcher.
Witcher.
Yeah.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love that series.
Now Victor.
Only cosplay I've done is on Halloween.
Yeah. And that.
Sure, that counts.
It
I
you know when I
Superman
was
one
like
year.
10 years old, I used to put like military camouflage on my face for Halloween. Does that count?
Were you G.I. Joe?
No, I was
We're
just
just
some
invisible?
random.
You have
guy
you
with
have to be some
camouflage.
kind of either character that you create for yourself that has a name or a character from some show or something, I think, for it to count.
I think so. I don't know, because I do like cosplays. I make my own cosplays where I'll just like create an original character, and that's still a cosplay.
Yeah. But you have to. I think you have to make a name for it, clowns. So it depends on what did you make. What did you make the name for your camouflage face guy?
Marine.
Hey, that's a good one.
I
That's
mean,
the original.
it is right.
That's good, man. We need to start a 80s style GI Joe type show because it's missing out in the world, and the lead character will be Marine. I think it'll work.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Vic
Give it a go.
Victor says to Jackie, "How could you not know about the Hobbit trilogy?"
Oh no, I know about it. I just refuse to acknowledge its existence.
Yeah, she's erasing it from the back of her mind.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
if
they were
I-
okay. I'll say they were okay.
if I say this, and you guys are probably gonna hate me, so if I like the Hobbit movies more than Lord of the Rings, is that a bad thing?
Wait, but you don't know the Lord of the Rings. I thought you said you.
I didn't really watch. I fell asleep in Lord of the Rings. There was a lot of dialogue at the part that I was watching, and I took a
Wait, but
snooze.
there's not a lot of dialogue in The Hobbit?
Well, I was impressed at the house in The Hobbit. Like I thought it was really cool.
That's the same
Okay,
house,
now
man.
I'm learning your standards. Okay. Just visuals. So we don't need any words in anything you watch. It's just pictures.
I guess sometimes, yeah. Sometimes, yeah.
Just pictures, no words.
Do you prefer the Marvel movies or the comics?
Oh, that's a tough one, man. Because I love the comic books. I think the comics are a lot better because they go deeper into the storylines.
You're
Marvel's
a
is
visual
just
person. You like picture books.
Picture
Exactly
book.
it.
Is that what you call it?
That's it.
Picture books.
books. Ow, that one hurt.
No, the comics are great. Yeah, but you know, if you like Hobbit more than the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, I don't know. That's a very. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody say that before.
I don't think I ever have.
No,
ever
I
met
definitely
anyone
have not.
that
Nope.
prefers The Hobbit to Lord of the
So
Rings.
now one day when Jackie's at a convention speaking, she'll be like, I met this one person once. And he
And he
said,
kind of looks like
Believe it.
Gandalf the Grey a little bit.
hey, what's going on, Xbot? Midway says he likes picture books. And Victor says he likes
Midway.
comics. And Xbot says he's a comic book nerd. And Midway says he likes hobbits more. Oh, I got
What?
somebody.
Does he
that
like
agrees.
Hobbits,
Oh,
or does he like
come
the
on.
Hobbit movies more? I think he's just trying to say he likes Hobbits.
Yeah, it's a difference.
He said it's close. What he said. So, Jackie, that's another thing too I want to ask you now that we're on topic of comic books. I noticed that on Twitter you posted a thing where you had commissions open for art. So do you also do artwork?
Wait, it did? Oh, it was probably a repost where I was reposting somebody else's because no.
Okay.
I can do very simplistic. Like I have posted just recently, actually on Christmas, I posted something I drew, and I think that's like the only thing I have ever posted of something that I drew. So no, I don't usually do that.
It also said you're a singer.
Yes, that I do. That I don't really have. I have like a couple of songs out that I've done with friends, but mostly I sing as characters. And in anime.
That is
That could
actually
be a
very interesting.
That could
That's
be
awesome.
a skill that's needed that not a lot of these voice actors could also do. Just if they have a singing character, maybe that would give you a little bit of the edge.
Yeah, it's helped me a few times already. But you will find that most voice actors also sing just because it's a very similar muscle that we're working on, and we have to do very similar techniques. But yeah, I've had a few roles. Actually, one is coming out at the end of this month where you will actually be able to hear me sing as a completely different character.
And that's probably under NDA as well.
That
right?
is under NDA. I cannot say what it is, just that there is something coming.
Xbot says he could sing in the shower.
That counts.
I love doing that. My neighbors hate it, sure.
I can't. I can't sing. I can do one line at Kermit the...
It might not just be favorable to some.
Well, they say it's out of tune and out of rhythm.
Yeah,
As
I think
you're having fun.
Yeah, the tone deaf thing is a real thing. Or like if you're next to a group of people singing and that one person just is on a different note than everybody else, that some people I think don't have that, but I think for the majority of people, like they can. I think it's just about overcoming the fear of doing it.
I agree. It's a lot about confidence, and actually, even though I've been singing since I was 10, only in the past couple years since I've been voice acting have I really learned how to sing properly, just because I never quite understood it. I never quite wrapped my head around the technique of it. And now that I'm getting used to performing all the time, it's the confidence is backing me up. The breath support is now backing me up. So it's all about just practicing and having the belief in yourself. Just trying.
I can do one character, and I don't know if it's very well. Some people say it's a 7, some people say it's a 6, some people say it's a 9. So it's like all over the place. But it's Kermit the Frog. So I'll try to do.
Are you gonna do it? Yes.
I'll try to. I am Kermit the Frog. Oh, piggy.
I think it's pretty good.
That's all right, actually. I'd give that an 8.
Can you sing the Rainbow Connection as Kermit the Frog?
Probably not. That's probably not going to happen. I don't even know the words to that.
It's okay. That was a impressive Kermit the Frog.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Flamish, who we've alluded to, for some reason, Flamish always gets brought up a lot. He's just that character, but I think he wants to dabble into voice acting. He's got a very unique voice. You should hear his Mario and some of his other stuff.
Okay.
So maybe we can find a highlight reel to show you sometime of Flamish, because that guy is a character with a voice for voice acting. I'm telling you, 100%.
Awesome. I can't do impersonations at all.
No.
Nope. That's not my skill.
Can you do an impersonation of ASAT?
Well, yeah, obviously.
Trick question.
You know, Sword Art Online is probably my favorite anime besides Yokai.
Uh-huh.
Can you do the character from Sword Art Online?
Yeah. I don't really know any lines off the top of my head, but I don't know. She kind of talks like this, and what's one that she does in reaction to?
That's pretty good already.
Yeah, it's just very light, and I know she freaks out when Kirito comes onto her, and she's like, "No, I didn't mean it like that." I remember that line. That's about it.
That's
all
awesome.
I remember.
This is impressive. You are definitely a professional. You can tell because you just could go right into the role out of nowhere.
Well,
That's
thank
great.
you.
And Mav, why'd you look weird for a second there? Am I green again? I'm not green, right?
No, I was looking down at my phone.
All right, yeah, because I thought maybe I was green all of a
No,
sudden.
I mean your beard and your hair is green, but that's just on your
but that's
icon.
about it. Yeah.
Your Joker inspired icon. That's awesome. Who made that for you? Was that Graphic God?
Sean Labrie.
Sean. Cool.
So, Jackie, when it comes to the games that you're streaming, do you play them until completion and then move on to a different one, or do you occasionally like rotate out of your games?
I typically rotate. I since Genshin has been big, I've been focusing on that a lot. But I have serious game ADD, so I jump around a lot. Usually I'll finish the game, but I might not play it like back to back to back to back until it's done. I'll usually kind of like throw in another game here and there. But no, usually I'll finish the games eventually. There have been I think there's only been like 2 that I haven't finished. Fire Emblem, I didn't finish. That was so long that I moved on. Are there any other ones? Not really. I've pretty much finished all of them, except we did a search for the worst Christmas game this year. And so I played like, I don't know, like 10 or 15 Christmas games, but only like an hour of each one, just to get an idea of what they were about. But other than that, no, I usually finish them.
What would you say is one of your most favorite games recently besides Genshin Impact that you've been playing?
How recently are we talking? Like the last year? Are we talking like last couple years or?
Let's say last 2 years.
Last 2 years? Ori, the first Ori.
Wow.
I adore platformers, and that one was just the music and the game style. I loved it. I played it twice, and it's incredible. I played it back to back. Like I finished it, got 100%. I'm like, all right, I'll play it again.
That is awesome. That
Have
is
you tried the
actually
new one?
a popular one.
Yeah.
Have you tried Will of the Wisp?
I started it. I have started it right before actually Genshin. I took a hiatus and I started playing Will of the Wisps, and then we started with our Christmas stuff. And so I put it on pause. But I still intend to go and finish it probably this month.
Cool. How much time do you actually do you think you spend per day doing voice acting stuff? You know what I mean? Because like for me, it seems like that kind of career is like you get a gig, you do it, and then what do you do in the meantime to either
Auditions.
try? You just constantly doing auditions and
Constantly doing auditions, almost every day. And I would say on average, probably 2 or 3 hours a day, because sometimes I'll get sessions that'll go, 4-hour sessions are the typical amount, 2 or 4 hours. And so the most I'll do in a day is like 6 or 8 hours. And then the least I'll do is like 1 hour. So
Are any of these auditions like directed while you're doing it live with them? Or is it just pre-recording stuff where you're doing your recordings and then you're submitting everything?
That way, they send me the script, I record my take, and I send it back.
Right.
I don't get any direction at all.
Yeah, and then you can just, I guess you wait to hear back, right?
Yep, or not. Usually, you just don't. I don't think I have ever gotten an email that said I didn't book it. It's usually you just know, or you see it come out.
Oh,
So I guess you gotta kind of learn to live with, like, you got to go into this knowing, okay, I'm going to be shot down probably 90% of the time at least,
Yes.
and you have to be okay with that. You can't just expect to submit something and get it and think you're a failure, right? Just because
Rejection is absolutely part of this game. I've gone almost an entire year once without booking a single project. But then the next year it'll be, something every other week. So it's just, you just got to keep going and deal with the rejection and keep positive and just hope that you get the next one.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's a snowball effect there? Because I feel like it was a lot of business where the more you stay in the game and the longer you do it, it seems easier because more people get to know you, more people familiar. So it seems like more things may come to you, and you have more opportunity than maybe you ever had before.
Oh, for sure. As you get more projects, you're getting more connections, you're getting more screen time. There's a very popular saying that, overnight success takes 10 years. Because, a lot of people don't even know you in these smaller roles. And all of a sudden, 10 years later, you're in everything. And they're like, oh my God, she came out of nowhere. Well, no, she's been doing this for a decade. She was just doing smaller roles.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to go back and look at like what Troy Baker's first roles were, right?
Oh, yeah.
Nolan North and these super famous voice actors that we all know the names of. Like, what was they like grunt guy in Tekken? You know what I mean? It could have been, right?
Oh, for
like,
sure. Yeah, a lot of times you'll see like a fairly big role and then nothing but teeny tiny roles for like years afterwards, and then all of a sudden huge roles. So you never know what path your career is going to take. You just kind of got to write it.
Awesome. What do you see the next few years for you being like? Are you committed to this like long term? You think because it makes you happy?
Yes.
And
I really never want to do anything else. It's every time I step out of the booth, I just feel complete, and I got my creative outlet. I actually started way back when I thought I was going to go into abnormal psychology, and got my degree in that and started working in that field, and just didn't feel complete. Didn't feel like everything was, all my life goals were being met. And so once I started delving into the creative fields, that I'm like, okay, no, this is where my life needs to go. And I'm never doing anything else ever again. Hopefully.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, I think it's been an awesome interview. So do you have anything else, Mama? Or
no, I don't think so.
I have one more question, I think, that I thought of. So, when you got into voice acting and you started telling everybody that you were going to be that you really want to be a voice actor, was there a lot of support from your friends and family? Or were they like, well, we don't know if this is a long-term career? Like, did they try to push you towards it or push you away from it?
My friends were super supportive because they knew how much I loved anime and all of that. My parents were a little wary, but they had pretty much figured out by then that I'm going to do what I want to do to chase after my dreams, and there's not much that they can do to stop me. But there was a little pushback from them. But overall, it was very supportive. And of course, once I started booking things, everyone kind of changed their tune. Everyone who was doubting me kind of is now fully supportive.
That's awesome. So, that's a good turnaround story there. So now you're like, here, watch this. This is me.
Yup. It's kind of funny because growing up, I would always do like little child voices around the house. I don't know why. I would just sound like a child, and my father hated it, despised it actually. So I naturally went into a career that did it all the time.
One last question from the chat before we get out of here. Stick Figure says, do developers cast through agencies like they do with screen actors?
Typically, you will have either an agency or a casting director or both, and they will do it for them, and they will collect a small amount of applications and then send it off to the client to make the final choice.
Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming out to the chat. And Jackie, thank you so much for this awesome interview. You are an amazingly talented person, and I wish you the most success. And now when I talk to everybody in the video game industry, I am going to be like, did you know that Jackie Lastra does voices as well? And you should hire her for your next JRPG or Western RPG because we need a lot of Jackie's voices in the game. Like a long character, not like some background characters like throwing a volleyball. We need like a main character.
Female protagonist.
Yes.
That's right.
That's what
we're hardcore.
Yeah.
Before we end this, isn't 3-Bit also the VGHD? I think he's from Georgia. I think he lives in Georgia. And you say you're from Georgia, right?
Yeah.
So he is actually won an award for like Georgia independent like animation, like a short film. So there should be an introduction since you like original animation. So just putting that out there. I'm going to forget unless I say it. Anyway.
That is awesome. Well, before we get out of here as well, one of our panel members, his name is Dreadpool, and he always does this on every show. So I'm just going to do it for him since he's not here, Jackie. He always puts the offer out there. He does a podcast, and it's called Breaking Bread with Dread. Now, what his podcast is like, let's say that you ever come to Florida or go to a convention or something, he would actually sit down in person. He's got like this actual carry around professional microphone. And it's got like two ends. I don't even know what he calls it, but it's like real fancy. And then he sits down with you, and like it could be at a cafeteria, a restaurant, somewhere. And as you guys are eating, he actually does a podcast. And
While I'm eating?
Yes. And
that's a requirement. Well, I'm a messy eater.
No, that's fine. Yeah, Dread does like I've done one with him, and the chairs are clanking in the background from the waitress pushing them in, and she's coming up. She's like, "Hey guys, you guys want any more sweet tea?" You know, she does that, and he's like, "No, thank you." And then he'll continue with the podcast. So it's just, I guess what it is it's just more natural. You know, it's kind of like in person. You're somewhere, and it picks up like all the background noise a little bit, so it just makes it like a real kind of like, in a sense, a movie set feel. You know. Yeah. It's just really cool.
Sounds like comedians in car is getting coffee. Yeah, that's what it sounds like if you're listening to it. It's really cool.
Yeah, so I just wanted to put that out there. So if you ever come to the animation conventions in Florida, the anime, the Wasabi Con, we would probably go there, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's Jackie Dreadpool," and he'd be like, "Oh, here's my recorder. Let's hang out." So
I'd love that.
That's awesome.
That would be great.
And Mama Mav, did you want to say anything before we exit?
Ladies first.
No. Just thanks for coming on. Like, it's really interesting to get a feel for what it's like behind the scenes. So obviously we see a lot in video games, but to like have the people behind that video game and behind that character, it's pretty cool. So yeah, thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
And I'll second that. Awesome interview. Interesting to get to talk to somebody that brings the characters to life. And also, not only that, but learn about what it takes to get started into this. And I think that can be a valuable information, especially for a lot of people in this community that have a dream of doing stuff like this and working in the industry in some way. Everybody can find something to do if you're interested in it. So I think that's one of the you do have to have a talent for it also, but it's the cost of entry into trying is not very high. So it's great to learn a little bit about the industry and about how it works for you. So thank you so much for that. It's and also your time and also sharing your characters' voices with us
that was cool.
on the spot. That was awesome.
Love that.
Feel bad for putting on the spot, but you nailed it. So
thank you.
it's
I
great
sound
to
like
have
me.
you here.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a fun time, and can't wait to have you back on this show at some point.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jackie, you're always welcome back on the show, and I hope in the future, after your next projects drop, that you would come back and hang out with us and talk about them, because you are amazing and full of energy, and it's just been a lot of fun talking to you.
Thank you so much. It's been so nice meeting you guys and talking with you, and this has been so relaxing and welcoming. So thank you. It's been wonderful.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that. So does that mean that you would come back?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes, that's awesome. And you don't have to do this, but I always it's always really cool when a guest does this, especially somebody that we look up to or consider very talented. Would you be able to just say in any voice? It doesn't matter if it's a real character or something you're making up on the spot, but could you just say that you are watching Four Guys with Quarters?
Four Guys Recorders. Yes. You're watching Four Guys Recorders.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jackie. That was amazing.
Thanks.
Well, to everybody in the chat, thank you for coming out tonight. There's been a lot of new faces in here as well. Victor, NSM, Determined Hero, thanks for dropping by. Dreadpool, Stick Figure, and Fastback was in here earlier, and Pong, and everybody else. So thank you so much. And if you didn't catch this live, you're catching it now, please check out the replay and catch it on the podcast feeds. Jackie's information is linked below. You could follow her there on Twitter. She also streams as well. So Jackie, where can they find you on Twitch?
You can find me at MOONPRNCSS. Moon Princess, but without the vowels.
Well, thank you so much, and until next time, see you guys later.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.